Hello dear student, welcome to another video in Scores of Linguistics. Today we'll be talking about Neogrammarians. Okay, so the Neogrammarians were German school of linguistics. Okay, originally at the University of Leipzig in the late 19th century. So these grammarians proposed the Neogrammarian hypothesis of the regularity of sound change. So basically, this school was interested in the changes of language, how language changes over time, and particularly they talked about or they accounted for the sound change. Okay, so according to the New Grammarian Hypothesis, a diachronic sound change affects simultaneously all words in which its environment is met, without exceptions. According to this school of linguistics, that is New Grammarians, they focus on the diachronic sound change, that is, how sound changes over time, the historical change of sounds. Okay, and what they found out that this uh, change affects all words. So when a sound changes in a word over time, this affects the words. So every now and then we'll find the same word with different sounds. Okay, the sound changes and then results in different words. So this affects the words. Okay, with no exceptions. Um, so in this regard, Verner's law is a famous example of the Neogrammarians as it resolved an apparent exception to Graham's law. So we're talking here about Verner's law and Graham's law, who these guys, these linguists, they accounted for sound change. Okay, so these are like an evidence for this fact or for this claim of New Grammarians. Okay, New Grammarians say that the sound change affects the words. Yes, so we're going to see how Verner's and Graham's law account for this or accounted for this sound change. So Verner's law described historical sound change in Proto-Germanic language, whereby consonants that would usually have been the voiceless fricatives f, p, s, h, and h, following an unstressed syllable became the voiceless fricatives b, the, etc. Okay, so in fact, before we talk about Verner's law, because Verner's law, he resolved Grimm's law. Because at the beginning, it was Grimm's law. Yes, and then this law, like, did not confirm, did not account for all the sound changes. And then Verner came to resolve this situation. Grimm's law, also called or known as First Germanic sound shift, okay, so is a set of sound laws describing the Proto-Indo-European, okay, Proto-Indo-European stop consonants as they developed in Proto-Germanic in the first millennium BC. So Graham basically he described the Proto-Indo-European sounds, especially stop consonants. Okay, what Graham's law did exactly is that it described how the voiceless stops in Proto-Indian European, like p, t, k, and k, these are voiceless stops, how so they regularly changed into Proto-Germanic f, okay, and p, and th, and h, fricative, so f fricative bilabial changed into I don't know, that sound is like a empty category that we used in mathematics. I don't know how to pronounce that sound. And p changed into th, and h changed into ch, and the h changed into ch. So these basically, you don't have to know the pronunciation of these sounds, but what you need to remember from this presentation is that Graham's law described that voiceless stops in Proto-Indian European changed into Proto-Germanic sounds. Okay, so f to, okay, p to another sound, h to another sound, and h to another sound. All right. And then how there appeared to be a large set of words in which the sound change was not as expected. So what happened is that the expectation of Grimm's law of the sounds did not occur as it was expected. Okay, p, t, and k did not change into unvoiced fricatives f, p, h, and h, but they rather changed into their voiceless, so their voiced counterparts. Okay, so the voiceless stops, p, p, h, and h, changed into their voiced counterparts. Okay, so this is something that Grimm did not expect, and then Verner came to resolve this situation. So as you can see in the chart, so we have Proto-Indo-European language, we have P, T, K, and K. What Graham expected is that, okay, you can see the Graham expectation of sound change, and what exactly happened is that, so the sound change either changed to what Graham expected or what Werner resolved later. So we have P became either th or B. T became either th or the. Okay, so they either changed into German sounds or into their voiced counterparts. Other contribution of the Neogrammarians to German linguistics were the object of linguistic investigation is not the language system, but rather the idiolect. That is, language is as it is localized in the environment and therefore is directly observed. This means that the autonomy, another contribution, the autonomy of the sound level being the most observable aspect of language, the most level is seen as the most important level of description. So the new grammarians accounted for the most observable aspect of language, which is sound. According to them, sound is the most observable aspect of language, so it is subject to study. And of course, we have historicism, that is, the chief goal of linguistic investigation is a description of the historical change of language. So, new grammarians also were diachronic in their study. Okay, so the describe language from the point of view of its change, of its historical change. Analogy, if the premise of the inavailability of sound laws fails, analogy can be applied as an explanation. If plausible, thus exceptions are understood to be adaptation, regular adaptation to a related form. So according to Neogrammarians, in case some sound change fails, for example, the expectation of sound change fails, that is like what happened to Grimm's law, his expectations did not uh, match. So in this case, what they would say is that, well, the other form that was not expected, that is, it was just adaptation to a related form. Okay, so what happened, for example, in the Indo-European sound, voiceless sound, so they either changed into to German sounds or to their voiced counterparts. That is, here it only adapted to the related form. So voiceless consonants adapted to related form, which is voiced consonants. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed and understood this lesson, and catch you guys in the next one.